Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kamurocho Bros, episode 1 of Drinking in Kamurocho. I am your host, David, and joining me today is my good friend, King Narakami. How are you doing, good sir?
I am good, and this is Drinking in Kamurocho. Of course, we've got our drinks right here. I am
Yes,
sipping
sir.
on some good wine, and I've got some beer right beside me. What you sipping on over there, David?
I got myself a couple of cold brews, a couple of beers here, so should be good, should be
I
fun.
know you. I know you love your Corona.
Absolutely, feels weird in the context that we're in, but yeah, I do love my Corona.
Oh my God!
So it should be fun, guys. We're doing something different behind the scenes with the stream, so please let us know if there's any issues with the audio. That's always the first thing that I say. You'll see, Drinking in Kamurocho is going to be a very chill podcast. This is probably our main goal. We want to be chill. We want to interact with the chat as much as possible, and we want to cover various topics. Of course, all about RGG Studio, Yakuza, Judgment, all that good stuff. And as you can see, episode 1 of Drinking in Kamurocho is going to be all about Lost Judgment. Our main topics being the demo impressions, because King here played the demo. I didn't have the time to do so, so I'm going to ask him some questions. If you have some questions as well, feel free to ask them. We're definitely going to be able to talk about them. And then reviews came up today. They went live. We have the Metacritic score. We're going to take a look at those as well, give our impressions on certain topics. And another topic that isn't written on the thumbnail, as you can see, but it is a smaller topic that we'll also briefly talk about, is of course the NVIDIA leak that happened this week, where Judgment was leaked for PC. So we're going to talk about all those topics. Should be fun. Thank you to everyone who's here. Shouts to Coogan, Joseph P, Heather Collins, Kudo, Midnight Channel. Thank you all for being here. Much appreciated. I hope you guys will enjoy the show. If you're new, subscribe, like the video, all that stuff that we always say. But thank you, most importantly, for being here. And don't be shy. Ask questions. We'll have the time to answer them. Are we ready
Pop
to
a
do
drink
this, man?
with us. Pop a drink with us, and
Yeah.
let's chill for a little bit.
Absolutely. We're sitting at Serena right now. Let's imagine it, okay?
Let's go.
Let's
Man,
go.
You just brought back a lot of memories from Yakuza 0 saying that right there.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
Where should we start with? How about impressions for the demo? Are you ready to do this? How about we
Let's
ask
do
you
it.
some questions? Okay.
Let's,
First
so,
up, don't go
So
in.
for those who don't know, sorry to cut you off, David.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Before we actually start the demo impressions, if you want to download the demo yourself, because I know we're still a little over a week away from the non-digital deluxe release. If you want to download it yourself, it's only on the Japanese store, but there is English audio and English subtitles. And I haven't tried it myself yet, but your save feature carries over to your game. I don't know if that's the case for, we're having to download this from the Japanese PSN store and use it on English accounts. I don't know if that'll count towards the Western version of the game, but if you want to download it for yourself, make a free PlayStation Japanese account, and you can, if you're impressed by my impressions of it, you can jump right in right after the podcast.
Cool, man. Thanks for letting us know. That's definitely cool. That's my big thing with demos, personally. If I can transfer my save file, it instantly makes it more interesting, especially since I play pretty much only some story-driven games. So I'll consider it if it's possible with the Western thing, as you said. But yeah, should be cool. Thanks to H2DK who just joined us today. Should be fun. Should be fun. No, Coogan, I didn't get the demo myself. King played it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him some questions. I did complete Judgment, almost everything too. Almost have the platinum on the thing. So I know everything. I've seen all the trailers and I'm very excited. Second most anticipated game of the year for me. How about you, by the way?
I am so hyped for it. It's been a while since I played a beat 'em up Yakuza game. I know a lot of people said that they got tired of it after Yakuza 6, but I still love it. I'm still in love with the series. That I want to see more of these Judgment characters, because we've only got one game compared to, I mean, they would get with Kiryu like 7. I mean, I want to see more of these characters and what they go through, and hopefully this, we're gonna talk about it later, but hopefully this isn't the last Judgment game. But
Yes.
it's definitely one of my most anticipated game of the year, right behind, of course, little Atlas game that's releasing here soon.
Yeah, some Persona stuff. So yeah, man, I'm very excited for it. Let me ask you straight up. Don't go in depth yet, because I have some other questions to ask. But first impressions, what are they?
The game is fun. Now, I played the PS5 version. I don't know what it's like on the PS4 version, but for me, it was a silky smooth experience. The combat was great, and they fixed a lot of stuff that I had problems with on the first game. And overall, I'm really excited to jump back into the main story. But I don't want to go in full detail right now, but just know the game is fun, and so far, it's definitely worth the wait.
That's really awesome. Looking at the trailers, I'm like, I played. Oh, I feel like I need to mention that too. It took me way too long to play the vanilla Judgment, the base game, the first game, and I played it on PS5. So I don't know how large the improvements and graphical improvements are, but when I look at Lost Judgment, I can see an upgrade. Like visually,
yeah.
I can see an upgrade. It looks great. It looks like a dragon, but different a little bit. They have a different style, and Lost Judgment feels less crusty, I would say. Just looking at the trailers, I don't know. I didn't play it, but looking at the trailers, looks hype. Looks really hype.
They definitely took the graphical improvements that they had, and it might just be like a generational leap from PS4 to PS5, but they really took the graphics, even like the cutscenes. In Like a Dragon, where they had one person on screen, it was like kind of visual novel kind of cutscene, where you had like the full body of somebody and they're talking, and then they cut to another character and they say their lines. They did this for this game too, so it's like they took everything that they learned from Like a Dragon, and everything except for the turn-based combat they put into Lost Judgment, and I love it.
Exactly. And then I also feel the need to mention something. The game is releasing cross-gen, so yes, there's like PS5, and there's probably an improvements for the series of systems, but it's crazy to me when I look at the base, let's say base Xbox or base PS4, when I look at the footage. It's crazy how well the Dragon Engine is running now versus how it ran when it first came up. Like, first Dragon Engine game, that was Kiwami 2, right?
No.
That was
Yakuza
6. Okay, that was 6. In 6, way more crusty than in the later games. Like a Dragon, it was already better. And from what we're seeing with Lost Judgment and Judgment on PS5, they nailed it. They know what's up. Now, I know that Spencer entered the chat here. Welcome, Spencer. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. The game's 30 frames. It stays at... it says, you two talk about the PS4 and Xbox One performance issues to stay at 30 frames. Does it struggle to stay at 30? Or is it that the PS5 version is 60?
So, I haven't personally
sure.
tried the PS4 version or anything. But I will say Spencer did point out something to me. When I did play the demo, there's two display options, two gameplay options. One is normal. It's at 60 FPS. It's basically
60.
4K.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 30 on last gen.
But here's the thing. There's also another one. There's also another setting that prioritizes resolution.
Oh.
And according to Spencer, I didn't try it myself. I didn't have enough time. But apparently it runs very poorly and chugs.
Okay.
On PS5.
Oh, wow. Even on PS5.
That's just what I heard.
Okay. Interesting. PS4 and Xbox One chugs. I checked out both today. Okay. Huh. Well, that's interesting because when you look at the other games, like, I don't think, well, the Dragon Engine, first of all, even the later releases, Judgment and Like a Dragon, on last gen, there's slowdowns.
Decently.
It's decent.
I didn't play Like a Dragon on my PS4. I played the PS4 version on my PS5 because we didn't have the PS5 version and we had to wait because it was exclusive. I know that Judgment 1 didn't run that great on PS4, but that was also one of those earlier Dragon Engine games. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that engine was really made for PS4. It was definitely, I'm not saying it's like a next gen engine, but it was just a little too powerful for it.
I think it's an optimization thing because when there's a big difference in performance between like Yakuza 6 and Like a Dragon on base PS4. So clearly
Yakuza 6 performs like ass.
Yeah, when Yakuza 6 dropped, the engine is so poorly optimized that it struggles, and then the same engine with a later release, like a Dragon on base PS4, is way better. So at least, yeah, maybe they dropped I think what happened is they dropped their engine and a new game in their engine too soon. The engine wasn't ready. There was still some little tweaks that they had to do to make it run properly. That's just my assumption, but I'm not a tech guy. Far from it. Plus, most importantly, I'm not one who notices too much in terms of performance, like frame drops, resolution, all that stuff. I'm really bad. Like, just a quick example. February Nintendo Direct, they showed Skyward Sword HD. I was like, yes, Skyward Sword HD, button controls, all that stuff. I was excited. And everyone in the chat was like, 60 frames, 60 frames. I was like, oh, I had no idea. That looked like the Wii version in HD to me. Like, sometimes it's a bit hard for me. When it's some very fast games like Strikers, P5S, I can see it. I'm dumb, but not that dumb. Like, a game like this is super obvious. I can see it. Or Age of Calamity on Switch really struggled. I can see it. But the Dragon engine, let's say like a Dragon on base PS4, it's really okay for me. It's 1000% playable. In Kiwami 2 and 6, I can kind of see the issues.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So in Lost Judgment, Spencer says it drops sub 20 resolution mode on PS5. That's rough. That's rough.
Maybe they can patch it. I know it's hard to patch frame rate issues. That's just poor. I'm not saying it's a poor job on the development team, but that should have been fixed. Or maybe there shouldn't have been a resolution mode. That's just something to think of, because the game ran silky smooth
in performance.
For my early demo impressions, it ran perfectly. Okay. I mean, I don't know why someone wouldn't keep it at that, unless they are like uber like, I gotta have my 4K at 60 FPS native. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. I can't even tell the difference between a 1440p and 2160.
It's the same thing for me. And H2DK in the chat is saying the same thing. And I'm not throwing shots, far from it. But Riku, the homie, on Twitter today, he tweeted, I wish Royal was 60 frames. I was like, man, a turn-based RPG, I really don't care.
But there's no excuse for it not to be 60 frames.
Yeah, but it's not needed. It really isn't. It's like it's a turn-based RPG. It's super slow, and when you look at it, it's not even noticeable. To me, it's not noticeable for a turn-based RPG, a slow game. A game like Judgment, a game like Persona 5 Strikers, I can see it. I won't argue. But a turn-based RPG, I'm like, dude, it's not a big deal. I understand that some people would like to have it. Riku would like to have a Royal in 60 frames. That's fine. You would like to have it too. That's perfectly fine. I don't give a single shit.
Now, I will say, if, not to talk about Atlas or Persona, but if they do release Royal on PS5 and it's still 30 FPS, that'd just be fucking ridiculous.
That'd be ridiculous if they drop it again, too.
Yeah, that's one thing, but still having it at 30 FPS, that would be fucking awful. But as far as I can see, the performance of Lost Judgment, great on PS5. Like I said, we'll take Spencer's word that it doesn't perform that great on PS4 and Xbox One, but...
And resolution mode on next gen.
They shouldn't have even included that.
Agreed. Honestly.
I don't understand. I mean, it still looks great. Like I said, it's just very nitpicky, if you ask me.
Coogan, it's funny you mentioned Shadow Elite HD because he's the one that I had in mind. I listened to his sometimes I listen to his podcast, and I know he's like the big PC. Oh, my slow turn-based RPGs, they must be 60 frames or I don't touch it. I'm possibly the opposite. Again, not throwing shots, far from it. But yeah, I really don't.
It's just visually more pleasing to me. As someone who does notice a lot, it's just visually, it's easier for me to look at.
And that's completely fair. The hardware can run the 60. It's optimization at this point, so it's completely fair to ask for those features. I get it. But one thing that Judgment did really well, and once again, looking at the footage, I think is doing really, really well. And I'm also asking you right now, how about the lighting effects in the game, the visuals in general? You know how in Kamurocho there's like big buildings with a lot of lights all around, and in Judgment and even in Like a Dragon, sometimes, especially at night, I would just stop and look and be like, holy crap, those games they're visual showcases. They really are. I don't play the the big Sony cinematic experiences. I didn't play God of War. I didn't play Last of Us Part 2. I didn't play Ghost of Tsushima. Looks really awesome. Those games, they're like a movie. But in terms of like third-party stuff, Judgment, Yakuza, recently, the Dragon Engine games, they look freaking... They're up there. They're really, really good looking.
Definitely. Even on last gen systems, even on PS4 and Xbox One, it still looks great. The lighting's awesome. They retained that same thing here. I didn't get a big chance to see a lot of it, but from what I did see, the Kamurocho is still beautiful. It's business as usual for RGG Studios, improving the lighting here and there, but everything's basically, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Kamurocho is definitely not broke.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful.
Absolutely. Hey, what's up, Riku? Thanks for being here. Funny that you jumped in right now because I just mentioned you like 3 minutes ago. I mentioned your tweet about 60 frames Royal. Very quickly, I mentioned it saying that we don't need 60 frames for turn-based RPG, but no shots. I get it. But if you want to go back a couple minutes, you're going to see what I meant. Thanks for being here, man. Spencer,
I wanted to, I think you were going to mention the same thing, so I'll let you handle this.
Okay.
Spencer.
He says the physical copies of Yakuza 7 on PS5 and Judgment Remastered Xbox are only Xbox are low prints.
Yeah.
I got Judgment Remastered on PS5, and I am planning on getting Like a Dragon on PS5 as well. It's a double dip for me. I got it on Xbox to play the next-gen version on Series X, so I'm going to double dip for it. It's getting pretty cheap, but it's not cheap enough. It's $64 Canadian, which is like 50 USD, which is a bit too much for me. I would like to pay 30 or like 35 for it. Especially since I'm buying a freaking ton of games like this season. Honestly, just this season I just bought Tales of Arise. That was not planned. You guys talked about the game in the chat before. Freaking fantastic. I'm 4 hours in. Game of the Year contender. I just bought a new visual novel that was announced like very recently called The Letter. It's an horror visual novel that looks awesome. I bought that. I'm buying Monkey Ball, Lost Judgment, SMT5, Caligula 2.
Oh, what's that? Doki Doki Literature Club.
Doki Doki. I bought the physical for that as well. Yeah, Spencer. I know King sent me that today, but unfortunately at Walmart in Canada, it's $64 right now.
And I will say, by the time that I have a normal desk job, so I can't always look at Twitter. But Wario tweeted that Yakuza Like a Dragon was $24.88 today on Walmart.com. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, shit, I'm going to send this to David just in case it's the same price in Canada. Yeah. And I'm going to get it. By the time I got it, and this was 20 minutes after Wario tweeted it, it was sold out.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, I was going to pull the trigger. That's a great price. That's what I'm looking for because we got that free upgrade from PS4 to PS5 version.
Exactly. So it's hard to justify.
Yeah, I don't want to spend... I love Yakuza. I have every game. I mean...
Even Dead Souls, which is worth $100.
Oh, watch out for Dead Souls content next month.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So,
Coogan, the visual novel is The Letter. The Letter. It's an horror visual novel. I think it was announced. I don't know if it was announced today, but recently I heard about it today. Pre-orders were starting today for the physical versions and the physical editions. They're exclusive to Play Asia. So yes, I got fucked with the shipping fees, but it's okay. I got the special edition and all that good stuff, like a very useful cardboard box that I bought for too much, but it's all right. The game looks cool. To go back to Let's Judgment here, I want to ask you, what is the thing that you appreciated the most with your playthrough of the demo? Yeah.
Two things, actually. One, the story starts off on a very dark tone, and I really appreciate that. I love darker.
Okay, is it darker? Well, from what you've seen, is it a darker start to the game than the first game?
Dude, I don't know if we want spoilers, but the very first scene of the game, you
Well, the
uncover...
demo, it's spoilers for the demo. I think it's okay to talk about
Okay.
like super early spoilers, but beware in the chat where we're gonna go minor spoiler.
Okay, so I'm gonna say in 3, 2, 1, cover your ears. Very first scene of the game. 2 cops in a little house. They see a dead body, and they pull the cover that was over the dead body. There's flies all around it. It's decrepit, and the cops start puking and everything. I can already tell that the story's going to be very dark, and I really appreciate that. Especially, later Yakuza games haven't exactly been, heavy subjects. They still cover heavy subjects, but it's not like dark and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the more serious tone.
Yes.
Because, Yakuza can be, like, very funny at times and everything. Especially with the side content, karaoke and everything. There's no karaoke in this game.
The side stories.
Right.
The best thing about the games.
Yeah. Except for Judgment 1. The Judgment 1 side stories weren't all that great.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh
now,
my god, dude, there's some awesome ones. The one who... There's this one motherfucker in the base game. Like, it's possibly my favorite side story. The man is like, he's dressed in some type of superhero suit. And he has this dumbass wig on his head. And every single time that you meet him in the city, the wig flies off. And you gotta run after the wig.
Oh, yeah,
like the dude, when he has his wig on, he's super confident. He's like, I'm a fuck you bitch. But when he loses the wig, he's the biggest pussy in town. Like, that's, oh my god. And that's one.
I remember that. Yeah.
And there's the other dude who like steals pennies and stuff. It's like, it's so dumb. Not to be honest, I really enjoyed them. But to go back to what you said about the darker thing, I think the thing with Judgment that I really appreciated, the base game, is the fact that when you have Yakuza, you mentioned how they talk about like some darker topics. We've seen like corrupt important people, corrupt politicians and stuff. It's some important topics, but it's not as dark. In Judgment, you start right away, you see the rotten bodies, you see everything, and it's more Yakuza. Yes, it tackles hard topics. Judgment goes deeper. It goes even deeper and darker, and I appreciate it for that.
Another thing I appreciate about Lost Judgment are the improvements to certain things. If you don't mind me going in depth of what I most appreciated. So the biggest problem I had with Judgment 1 was the trailing missions, where you had to, I guess, just scope out somebody, see what they're doing, follow somebody on their trail. So you had to basically, so they would just keep on walking, and these segments could be like 20 minutes at a time. They would walk, and then they would stop and just look around like a dumbass, and you would have to like press X beside of a car to hide for a little bit until they just finally decided to randomly walk again. Those sections kind of got old after a while. I think that was Judgment's weakest point. In Lost Judgment, the very first mission you do is one of those tailing missions. So here I am, I'm playing it, oh my fucking god, are you kidding me? They actually improved on it. It's like, you don't just press X to hide behind a car. It automatically hides you behind environments and stuff. Or if you want to press the triangle button, Yagami will get his phone out and look everywhere and start texting somebody, or look at his phone, look at a picture or something, or like,
that's cool,
pretend to take a selfie or something. It's great, and it didn't last as long. Now, of course, that could change in the other game, but I can already feel a big improvement with that system. That was my biggest gripe with Judgment 1, because it felt like those missions lasted forever. And I know you didn't have a problem with it.
That's what I was about to say, and I think your complaint is perfectly fine. When I played Judgment for the first time, I know I was chatting with you through my, basically all my playthrough. I was sending you like pictures and photos of my screen and stuff, and I gave you my thoughts, and I was like, oh no, the tailing missions, I didn't have any issues, but I get where the complaint comes from. It dragged on for you, and that's understandable to me, so that new feature will help, and that's cool. I'm glad to hear it. Decon, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. No problem. You're not late, man. We started 30 minutes ago. No, we did not talk about the DLC yet, but this is a topic that we will talk about, because yes, we have a lot of things to say about that for sure. So yeah, that's cool. I'm really glad to hear that. Was there anything else that you would like to say in regards to the demo? It's more Judgment at the end of the day. There's new missions, there's new mini games. I'm looking forward to the motorcycle mini game because the go kart in Like a Dragon was super hype. So I'm looking forward to that. The dancing mini game, I'm sure you'll be into that as well.
Yes, I'm so excited.
That looks super dope, and it was. Listen, I know you're gonna give me shit for this. It was fun in Yakuza 5. The dancing sections with Haruka, it was fun. It was just, it was a bit too long. It was dragging on for me, but it was still fun. So I'm looking forward to it, especially if it's side content. But we know that Yagami's going undercover and in high school and stuff, so it may take a larger part of the story. We'll see. We'll see.
I can't believe they're copying Persona with this game.
Yeah, again, no, I think did you say did they copy? Are they copying Persona or just Persona 5? Because I'm pretty sure they're just copying Persona 5.
Yeah, they invented Tokyo. It's just happening in Persona 5's world. We're just living in it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else to say about the demo?
The demo's great. Like I said, if you do want to download it, create a Japanese PSN account. It's totally free. As far as your save's supposed to carry over, but I'm not sure how that works with US accounts with the Japanese demo. But the demo is translated fully and fully voiced in English. So if you want to check out the first couple of hours, go for it. I mean, I'm glad I did. It held me over. And we're how many days until release? Is it next Friday, the 24th?
We don't count the digital deluxe because that's garbage. So the 24th. It releases on the 24th.
Right. So I'm really excited. Just over a week.
Last Judgment will be the Persona 5 of Judgment.
Oh my god!
You love to see it.
Are you game rant? Are you game rant right now?
Yes. I'm sure there's a delay with the chat, but it's funny as I said that I've seen Riku's message saying sounds promising. Oh no, I'm here for it. Let's talk about the DLC real quick, shall we? Yeah. I'm going to do an overview of what's the DLC and the release schedule and all that stuff, and then we're gonna give our thoughts because I need to talk about the DLC. I really need to because it's been pretty positive. So let's start being negative a bit here. So of course, they have Day 1 DLC because this is a Sega game. At launch, there's a DLC pack that is available. It is the Detective Essentials pack, and I think you get this pack. This is only what you get with the digital deluxe edition. Plus, you get to play the game 3 days early. Digital only. Sega. So what comes with this package is more detective dogs, new skateboard and skate park, Sky Spider drone, additional girlfriends, additional Sega Master System games that will be playable in the arcade. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And you'll get to fight Super Shit Amon. So personally, I see this and I'm like, I'm not even mad about that Day 1 DLC because I don't give a shit about anything on that pack, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, you can either take it or leave it. Who cares? At the end of the day,
I agree.
If you don't get that DLC, if you don't care about customization like we do, great. You still get to experience the full story.
You're not missing out. That's the thing. Exactly. Then there is...
But!
Yes, but. We're not at the but. Are we? Yes, okay, yes, there's a but. Here's the but. Okay.
Ooh,
Second
butt? Can we talk about your butt?
Later. We'll do that later. A month later, October 26th, so a month after launch, School Stories expansion pack releases. And in that pack, you get new motorcycle. You get new motorcycle that includes more parts and a new race course. Okay. New dance club outfit and even sweeter dance move. Okay. A new robot. Spar with Kaito, Sugura, and Igachi. You get to box with them. And the biggest thing, the worst thing that really tickles my fancy here is take the next boxing combat style out to the streets. In other words, there is a new boxing combat style in Lost Judgment, and it is locked behind a paywall.
The most bullshit thing I've heard. You know, I hate digital deluxe editions. That's one topic, and we can get into that later. But this is something I hate possibly even more, because this is a whole gameplay experience. This isn't even story DLC. You're missing out on an entire fighting style. Why? They already made it. It could be implemented into the game easily. You know, it's one thing to have story DLC. Okay, they had to record voice stuff and everything. That's fine. But this is a fucking fighting style. What the fuck
Dude,
are they thinking?
My problem with DLCs, my only gripe with DLCs, is when they lock content of the base game behind a paywall. That's my problem.
Right.
The boxing style is available. There's a boxing mini game in the main story. You're in a ring and you use that new boxing combat style in the ring. It is in the base game. And then, if you buy the DLC, you get to use this combat style in the streets of Kamurocho. They locked a combat style behind a paywall. The thing is, this is gameplay. This is a base feature of the game. This is a standard new feature that you would get in a sequel, and they locked it behind a paywall. The rest, everything else, yes, exactly. And we gotta give them props too, because the rest, everything else, it's good. I don't care. It's cosmetic. It's additional mini games, all that stuff. That's okay. You can lock that behind a paywall. This is typical DLC bullshit that I can avoid easily, and it's not an issue. Speaking of positive, the last DLC pack that drops, that's very good, and that's a fantastic way to do DLC, because this DLC is gonna release in spring 2022. It is a DLC pack called the Kaito Files. That's right, it's basically the biggest DLC of the bunch, and this one gives you 10 hours of additional new content with unique fighting styles, playing as Kaito himself. That is freaking hype. I know I mentioned this to you, bro, before we started the stream. I never buy DLC.
Right.
The last time that I bought some DLC was the expansion pass for Breath of the Wild. And I'm going to buy the Kaito Files. Because when I buy this, I'm like, dude, I'm getting 10 more hours of Lost Judgment. I'm going to play as Kaito, a fantastic character, new combat styles. I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. And most importantly, they're not blocking that content of the game. This is new stuff. This is coming in months after launch. They're working. They're gonna work on this post launch. They're not blocking me, so that is super hype. This is super hype for me.
I think it's great.
I
think it's a great thing to include. Like you said, they're working on it. This isn't something that they have in the base game. You've never been able. I mean, I know this is only the second Judgment game, but we've never been able to play as Kaito. And he's very beloved in the community. He's really a great character. So, it's great that you have this separate experience. And I think, did they announce a price point for it at all?
I don't think so.
It being more than 20.
That would be 30 for me. That's just for the Kaito Files?
That's worth it. It's a new story, new character. I mean, I'd pay $20 for it. What I won't pay money for is something that's available in the fucking base game.
Yeah, definitely. Now I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy that for sure. Even if it's 30, it's like I'll get it. 30 is a bit steep for me, because if it's 20 for you, it's 30 for me. It is a bit steep, but I have a good feeling buying it. I feel like this is positive stuff.
Well, like you said, it's a 10-hour experience.
Exactly.
Like,
so.
Plus, I'm gonna another game.
Yeah, I always take my sweet time with those games, so I'm probably gonna get some more out of it, because with most Yakuza games, I always check like howlongtobeat.com to see how long the main story is, and every single time that I check, I'm like, man, I just reached the average completion hour, and I'm like halfway through the game, because I do all the side stuff and all. Those games, I'm getting my money's worth with the base game anyways, so I should be good. But I feel like when they revealed this, first thing that we did, I messaged you. I was like, hey, bullshit, but good. There was the two sides of the coins again with this DLC with Lost Judgment. It's Sega. My favorite third party ever, my favorite third party and publisher is Sega and Atlus. And they pulled a Sega and Atlus. That's what they always do. There's always a little something that isn't that great with the releases. But to be honest, it's the only negative that I have. What's up, Bullix, though? Welcome to the stream, man. I appreciate you being here.
I want to get your personal opinion. on this digital deluxe edition and what you think about it. That you can play a few days early. Now, I'll go on my rant afterwards, but I want to know what you think about it because this is a Sega practice that they've started with. Didn't they start it with Strikers? And it just kind of went on from there.
Ooh, that's a good question. The Strikers had it, I'm sure. In terms of Atlas, yes, it started with Strikers, 100%. Sega, in general.
Well, we don't give a shit about Sonic, and I'm sure there was a Sonic game.
No, I don't really care for Sonic. But I don't know. It's around that time at least. But what I think, well, you know, I am the least, like, I'm super pro physical games.
Right.
I always get my games physically whenever I can. If there's no option for physical, it really, really, really has to be a game that I very much want and that there's no other option. Sometimes when a game is available digitally only in the West and it's available in Japan with English subs, I'm importing the game.
Right.
Fatal Frame in October. That's the thing. Koei Tecmo, they're dropping a physical version of the game in Asia with English option. I'm paying. Get ready, y'all. Get ready. I am paying $25 Canadian more. I'm paying $85. Well, for you guys, I'm paying 80 USD for the game.
No. 85 Canadian. It's probably around $100. Wait.
No. It's not 80.
70.
It's for me. It's like $93. So for you guys, it's like 75 USD around that. So I'm paying 75 USD for a game that I could get on the eShop for base 60 because I want it that much physically. So I'm not a good example, okay, in terms of digital. But I still think that practice sucks because you don't give an option to your physical collectors. It is, if you want to play it early and you want to pay some more, plus you get the little DLC, the actual practice isn't that bad. It's just that they're forcing you to buy the DLC to get the game early. Plus, there's no option for the physical side of things. So,
exactly. If there was just an option.
Yeah. Give me a collector's edition. It's a bigger, larger box, and it comes with a poster. It comes with an art book and a soundtrack. I'm willing to pay much more for that.
Fuck, I don't even care about a big collector's edition. Come with the fucking coaster. I don't give a fuck. I will pay money to have it physically a few days earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Very weird comparison because the company that I'm about to ring up isn't good. 2K. The NBA games, the 2K games, you can get them early. They have the digital deluxe garbage just like Sega is doing right now.
No. As someone who did play 2K, they still have that physical.
So that's what I was about to bring up. So they have an option. They have an option. You can get fucked digitally or you can get fucked physically. That's as you wish. So at least you have an option. If there was that option with Sega games, I would still think it's pretty ass, but I'd be able to live with it. Now it really is bad because, especially as a content creator, I know I mentioned that when we were talking about the controversy behind Nocturne HD, which had a similar option, the digital deluxe. I remember telling you, I was like, it really sucks because I'm a content creator. I'm not too confident that I'll get a review code for SMT5. I hope so, but I'm not too confident. And if there was a digital deluxe edition of the game, if I didn't have a review code, I wouldn't have a choice. I've been waiting for that game for over 4 years, so they would force me to get the digital edition because I wouldn't be able to wait. You see? That's the thing.
You're fucking your most passionate fans.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
Fucking them.
And that sucks. But again, we're complaining, but overall, we're very positive about the game and stuff. So.
We're just two old dudes complaining about, having a box. I mean, shout out to Christoph in the chat. He says, cheers from Germany. Cheers from Canada and the U.S.
Absolutely. I'm so drunk tonight. My man.
Hey! Man, he is truly drinking in Kamurocho.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
He's right there with us.
Yes. I have a good one, H2DK, man. Take your time. No problem. No problem. Oh, no, you logged off work. Okay. Well, cool, man. Hope you enjoy your time. Sorry, I misread your message real quick here. Shall we get into the reviews? I think we covered pretty much what we wanted to say for the demo impressions.
I will say his choice, H2DK, love you, man. He's a big supporter of mine.
Oh.
I love you, but IPAs are trash.
Oh, no. I'm with you, H2DK. IPAs are good. IPAs are good.
No.
They are. They are. Keep drinking your juice, man.
Bro, shut the fuck up. IPAs are straight up booty.
You want a glass of milk?
I mean, I love straight milk, so that's cool.
Okay,
cool
okay. You like
I'll sip my fireball.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
I do like Jack Daniels.
Oh, Jack Daniels is decent. Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, let's get into the reviews here real quick. Now, the game right now, as of the recording of this video, reviews went up this morning at 9 a.m. East. So, there's still going to be other reviews. The Metascore can and probably will change. But right now, the game is sitting at an 83 on Metacritic. Which is good, which is pretty good.
Very, very good.
Yeah, it is actually the 24th best ranking PlayStation 5 game of the year right now, which is also pretty good. The game has 3 perfect scores. Screen Rant, digitally downloaded, Hey Poor Gamer, they all gave it a 10 out of 10.
You love to see it.
That's really good. Looking at it really quickly, there is some reviewers that I trust and that I read some of the reviews kind of often. RPG Site is a good one. They gave it a 90. Noisy Pixel is another good one, 90. Silicon Era, 90.
Easy Allies, someone who I watch very regularly, I think they gave it like an 80. Not bad at all.
No, definitely not. In terms of the lower scores, that's where they lost it a bit, because there's a lot of mixed scores. Not negative, but mixed. The lowest one, by a large margin, is Digital Trends. If we look at what they have to say...
what did Game Rant give them? I know Game Rant had a score on there.
Game Rant sucks. I don't see them. Yeah, Easy Allies 80. Oh yeah, Game Rant 80. Decent. If we look at the lowest one, though, the Digital Trends, what they say, and I know we wanted to talk about this, so I'm bringing it up right here. One of the cons that they mentioned is uncomfortable plot. I know you have something to say about this, and I think you have a great way to explain it. So why don't you let our viewers know what this is all about? The problems with the plot that a couple of the reviewers had with the game.
So obviously we don't know the context of where the story goes at this point. But they say some of the more darker aspects of the game kind of play on, you know, certain movements that are happening right now, such as like the Me Too movement and stuff. Which it says it uses this as a plot point and kind of twists it. But not that I am defending that whatsoever at all. But Japanese culture is very different from US culture. And I'm not saying that it's okay over there. What's okay over there is not okay over here. So it's we should write it as okay. No, not at all. Not at all. And whoever says I did can eat shit. So I think that people are looking at it with their Western glasses on too much. Not that I say that not that I know people that have gone through some bad experiences before. And it's awful. But they say that they use it as a plot point to as a big twist in the story. But here's the thing. You're talking Japanese culture versus Western culture. It's very different. I mean, it's not like... That's just what I gotta say. I think they're being not necessarily too harsh, but I think that they're looking at it from one perspective, when it should be looked as they have a very different culture than we do. Not saying that that's okay whatsoever.
That works. You're definitely right. I don't know much about the differences in cultures. I do know a little bit, and I get where you're coming from with this, and I understand how it can be an issue in the West. Since this is a worldwide release, we cannot really see the difference between the reception in the East and in the West. It's a bit harder to tell. Good thing that it's one of the first major worldwide release for Sega in a long ass time too, so we gotta give him a lot of credit for that.
And Joseph in the chat says apparently the game has way too much shock value and it is insensitive to the Me Too movement. On one point, like I said, it's a different country, very different than our culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's hard to say, as you know, as we've done video reviews before.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say because it's like, it's just such a different culture. So we don't know the context of it. Maybe they're right, maybe not. But sometimes you just gotta take off your glasses of just being here in the West.
Yeah.
And look at stuff from a different perspective. Not that I'm saying that any of the topics that they cover it's great or anything. But you just gotta look at it with a different set of glasses, saying, "Oh, this is just their kind of where they live."
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what I'm saying.
I definitely get where you're coming from with this whole thing. What's up, Christian? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. I get it. I get that. Overall, I'm happy with the review scores.
Yes, because that is a very small minority that have complaints about it.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, it's a fictitious story.
Yeah.
That take place. Kamurocho is not even real. It's based off a real place.
Mm-hmm. To me personally, the biggest thing with Yakuza games, like the biggest complaint, and you gotta remember, y'all, that Yakuza's top 3 series of all time for me. So I'm not the best critic in terms of what I don't like, because I like most of what the games have to offer. But the biggest thing that I really dislike in some of the games, not all of them, the pacing. The pacing is rough in some of the games, and Judgment, fantastic in terms of pacing. The original game, it flows well. You have investigation sections, you have courtroom sections, you have the fighting sections. It is paced in such a good way, not just in terms of story, but in terms of gameplay as well. Yakuza 5, as much as I love the thing, all the playable characters are awesome. Fuck you, Narukami. I know you don't agree, but all the playable characters are great. But there's some pacing issues. Sometimes it drags on. I don't need to dance 24 tracks with Haruka in a row for practicing for the show. 4 or 5 with optional additional ones would have been enough. Same thing with the sections with Sojima, which I really like Sojima, but I don't need to be hunting deers and squirrels for like 2 hours. That's
right. I didn't give a fuck about those sections.
I didn't either. And I like the character. You don't, so it's understandable. But I like the character, and I thought that dragged on. So that is some issues. Judgment, dude, from start to finish, never once I was like, I wish this would be faster.
Except the trailing sections for me.
For you. But even then, it's short. It's in short span, and it's placed at different times in the story, so it's not really a pacing issue. You just didn't like that feature. So I hope Last Judgment is good in that aspect as well, because this is one thing that I extremely liked. I like detective stories, police stuff, courtroom stuff. In terms of like fiction, that's my jam. Ace Attorney, I love me some courtroom drama. I love me like some murder mysteries. That's awesome to me. It really is. Judgment was right up my alley, to be honest. It is such a good game. I was expecting a lesser Yakuza experience jumping into Judgment. And it may just be... Oh, wow. I can't believe I'm going to say that. It may just be my second favorite Yakuza game. I think.
That's a very big
it says a lot.
Right there.
It says a lot. It really
That's
does.
Very big praise.
Yeah. I like it that much because the gameplay is superior than most of the games, in my opinion. Oh, I don't know about second. Oh boy, I don't know about second. There's Like a Dragon in there as well. Second or third? It's second or third.
We could say this. At the time of its release before Like a Dragon, it probably would have been.
It was second. Yes, that's correct. Absolutely. So I'm just. It's hard for me to imagining this game being a 7 to me, or even a 6 in the case of this reviewer here, Digital Trends. So
media is subjective.
It really is.
Everyone's going to have different opinions. People are going to have problems with the way dark topics are presented. Some people will write it off as, oh, they're just going a different route. Media is very subjective. What we see, I love Yakuza 6. I know some people didn't because they felt like it. I like Yakuza 3, and people find it as the worst entry in the series. So I love Dad Kiryu. I thought
The
that was
worst
great.
one? That's tough, man, because I
I
like
don't
3.
remember a lot of 4. I don't remember a lot of it.
It's funny you mentioned 4 because it's the one that I have in mind too. I don't know. I don't know.
Just like, what
The
the fuck
story
even
was
happened?
better. The story was better in 4, I think. But in 3, it dragged on less. The pacing was better. That's really my big thing with Yakuza. The story sometimes is.
Well, Yakuza 0 starts off extremely slow. It did for me. So, because
But
it takes you... Yes,
it's-
but once it took off, after those first 2 hours, it fucking took off.
Yeah. But let me ask you one thing. Let me ask you
Yeah,
one
go
thing.
ahead.
Did it start that slow? Did you start with 0?
I did, yes.
Okay, never mind then. I was about to say, did it start that slow? Because you know how all the other games, they start with a bang. You start the game, they punch you right on the face.
Right.
Right at the start. And in 0, it's not the case. So I was about to ask, is it because you're used to all the other games which start with a bang and 0 started a little bit slower? But no.
0 was my first... 0 was my first actually Japanese game that I played probably.
Wow.
I played it on a whim. And without Yakuza 0, I wouldn't have been...
That's
I wouldn't have gotten
awesome.
into Persona or any Japanese culture.
Yeah. That's really awesome.
So...
Coogan
I
says
owe a lot.
Yakuza 0 is his favorite.
I agree.
No, he says 4. Sorry, I said 0, but he says Yakuza 4 is my favorite.
That... I can tell you this. I can't even remember 4 things that happened in Yakuza 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, 4 introduced Akiyama, so it deserves some points for that.
Right, but
Some solid points.
what else happened?
You're probably simping over Hana-chan too, right? Do you remember?
Oh my god, yes,
You do?
yes, yes.
She's great. She's a cool character.
I just... Nothing happened in 4, and there was a boss fight at the very end that I remember being very, like... The very last boss fight, I remember being very, like... I wouldn't say hard, but it was just frustrating. Because it was like 4 boss fights in one. So I thought that was kind of bullshit, but...
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't remember 4 things that happened in Yakuza. But if you liked it, maybe I need to go back and play it because I played Yakuza 0, then I played Kiwami, Kiwami 2, 3. Well, I didn't play Kiwami 2 right after Kiwami because it hadn't released. I watched a playthrough of Yakuza 2. But I went straight into 3, 4, and 5 and played them in succession. So maybe it was just like, okay, I'm just trying to get the 5 at this point so I can play 6.
Hey, welcome to the stream, Philemon. I missed you entering the stream, so thanks for being here. Hana-chan, best girl? Well, I don't know about best girl, but she's better than Haru and Chie, so that's that.
Bro, shut the fuck up.
What was
By
that
the
about?
way, are you going to buy the DLC where you get to date more women?
That's a thing?
Yeah, you said in the Lost Judgment you get to date, you get new girls to date or
Oh,
something.
okay, yeah. No, I'm not buying either of the in the 3 packs. I'm only buying the Kaito Files pack.
They're really trying to cater to the simps right there, and I appreciate that.
Let's talk about that real quick. Those dating sections.
I loved it.
I did too. And do you
So,
know what was my
I know
favorite
you-
thing? Do you know what was my favorite thing? And I know I remember sending that to you. At the end of the dating sequence, you can take a picture with the girls. And I was always doing the worst possible bum face. I was like, and the girl is like, yay, I'm happy to be here. And I have the worst angry face ever. And dude, that makes for some funny. I was laughing most of the time when I play the Yakuza games. I'm high most of the time. So, I don't know why, but they make me laugh so much that I like to smoke a little bit of a herb while playing the games. And I remember laughing my ass off so much while just taking pictures. I was like, dude, it was my thing. It really was.
Didn't you say your girlfriend walked in on you during one of the dating things?
I think she did. Oh no, that was during well, she recently walked in on me while playing Doom, And did you play the Doom reboot?
No, but
No.
I've heard great things about it.
It is really good, and I'm not a first-person shooter fan, but it is really good. And the game's like super gory and all. And she entered the room and she was like, "The fuck is this?" Like she's used to my Japanese RPGs with cutie art style, with waifus and stuff, and she was like, "You're chainsawing a demon in half. What's that?" But in terms of Yakuza, no, she walked in on me with the Haruka dances in Yakuza 5 recently. That happened. And she was like, "What the fuck is this?" Hey, I'm dancing with a little girl. It's weird. I agree. I get it. Out of
Tracks were
context.
fantastic. I love those.
The tracks are great. The tracks are great.
Maybe it's because I like the idol kind of stuff. I think that's interesting. I really like the sections in Yakuza 5 where you had to go to like meet and greets and stuff, and you kind of got to see what she had to go through with those creeps and everything there. So I love the idol stuff, but then again, I'm a big rhythm game simp.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I'm not a great example because in terms of rhythm games, I played the Haruka sections in Yakuza 5, and I recently played P4D. Nothing else. I didn't play Eternal yet, Philemon, but I'm planning on doing so. I bought the Doom Slayer collection, so I need to play like Doom 64 and the base game. Yes, King is using the Kamurocho Bros account, by the way. He said Haru's trash.
No, you shut the fuck up right now, David. Fuck you. But getting back on like Lost Judgment stuff.
Yes.
I think one thing that we should talk about is it's something that's been on just gaming news. I mean, we even covered this on our own individual YouTube channels, but it also stretches into RGG. NVIDIA. They had a big database leak, and I think you have more to say on that because I think you know more than I do. But if you go ahead and tell us what happened with the NVIDIA leak.
Okay, so what happened with that leak? Yes, I at first, in terms of the leak in general, I cover. I'm sure I recognize the faces in the chat, so I'm sure you guys know. But I cover Atlas News, and when the NVIDIA leak came out, there was some Atlas stuff on it. And I decided not to report on it. And it's related to the Judgment, so that's why we're bringing it up today. I decided not to report on it because in that list for the leak, there's some crazy stuff. There's like Kingdom Hearts 4.
Who the fuck wants to play another Kingdom Hearts?
Good point. Belongs in the trash can right next to Haru. And then there's crazy stuff like Chrono Cross Remastered. Like some stuff that is crazy. And I was looking at that list and it's huge. Like it's really huge. I was like, no, not happening. But then NVIDIA came out and they said the leak is real. This is a list of games that we have of games planned for NVIDIA GeForce in the future. But this list is for internal use. And in all of those games, certain games are for internal use and there's speculation only. Others are indeed going to release on NVIDIA GeForce and PC in the future. So some of the games are really going to come to PC at some point, others aren't. And on that list, in terms of RGG, there is Judgment, the original game. Let me ask you one thing. Well, let's give a bit of context first. We talked on the channel recently about this whole situation, but for those of you who don't know, there's been some issues with the talent agency behind Yagami's voice actor. Yagami's voice actor, Yagami's character...
Right, in general, not just voice actor.
Yes, exactly. Yagami's character in general is the voice actor. He looks the same way physically. The voice is his. So it's him, basically. And that voice actor isn't independent. He's with a talent agency. And this talent agency doesn't want Yagami on PC because of mods. Because with modders could ruin the reputation of the voice actor, of Yagami's character, IRL. So I want to ask you, what do you think about Judgment possibly coming to PC? Do you think Sega figured something out? Because we know Sega wants Yakuza on PC. All the games are on PC at this point. So they want Judgment on PC, 1000%. What's up with that? Do you think they deal something with the talent agency?
I don't know because I don't know because I've already seen shit where they've taken Yagami and put him in like a dragon and shit. It's like modding's going to happen no matter what. So the talent agencies, their problem holds no water. It's like their situation is like it's going to happen regardless. So I don't see. To me, if someone's modding a character in the game, it's because it's popular. I mean, it's not going to hurt the reputation of the actor at all. I mean, I agree. See weird.
But let me ask you one thing. We talked about maybe some cultural differences. Can that be the case? Maybe it can be. I don't know. Maybe in Japan it's something else. I don't know.
Right. It could be a case of Japan views the industry differently.
Possibly.
And that's not something that we understand.
Exactly.
So
because I'm with you. I'm with you.
As far as Judgment on PC, I hope that they work something out. It's hard to say because we don't know Japanese culture. We don't know if they did work that out. Judgment on PC, 1000% I could see happening one day. But let me ask you. This could be, if they go through with this could be the last Judgment game, at least starring with Yagami on it. Do you think, because I know that RGG have recently said that Yakuza is going to be a turn-based RPG. Judgment is going to keep the beat-em-up style of 0 through 6 that we're used to. So, if this is the last Judgment game, instead of Lost Judgment, they call it Last Judgment, because it might be the last Judgment game. Do you think that the Yakuza series will go back to the beat-em-up style, or do you think Judgment will even continue on after this?
Okay. Let me answer this while going back on the topic of the talent agency as well. I'm going to answer it at the same time. First up, I don't think Judgment is heading to PC. I think it is part of the speculation on that list, because it was just a month ago that we were talking that someone at Sega, pardon me, I don't remember who, was saying that Lost Judgment is possibly the last game in the series due to that agreement with the talent agency. Legally speaking, they're making sure that Sega and RGG can't put the game on PC. I don't think that was about Lost Judgment. They were like, oh, it's the end of the series because of that. So I don't think they're going to just put the base game on PC a month later. NVIDIA's already aware that the game's going to come on PC. And I don't believe that. I really don't.
Right.
And to flip the coin around and to answer your question, in terms of the general series, we did see the Nagoshi, the creator of Yakuza. He said, the director, he said recently, before leaving the Yakuza series, he said there's two branches. He said that during Judgment Day, when they revealed Lost Judgment. He said there's two. Here's how we see Yakuza and RGG games in the future. There's Yakuza, turn-based RPG, and there's Judgment, beat-em-up style. I think since Sega really, really, really wants to put all their games on PC, I think Judgment keeps rolling. I think we keep getting Judgment games, but not with Yagami.
Right.
It's going to be Judgment with a new cast of characters. That's what's going to happen. And they're going to keep going in that direction. Beat 'em up style for Judgment, turn-based for Yakuza. Like a Dragon did super well. Judgment is also doing super well. They're going to keep both on track. And they're going to put Judgment on PC by changing the cast of characters. That's what I'm thinking. I don't have any sources.
Too big. So here's the thing. I know that they had to change a character in Yakuza 4 on the remaster because of a scandal that they had. And that's, a Japanese culture thing. Where it was like this scandal, I think the use of drugs or something, is very taboo over there in Japan, and that could ruin someone's image. And here we're just like, oh, he's just fucking snorting cocaine. Who gives a shit? So if they do replace Yagami's, if they do go that route and replace Yagami, do you think that'll have an impact on how people view the game? Will they not support it because of that? Do you think there will be a big backlash? Because I don't see them changing. It'd be one thing if it was a side character, but this is the main character that we're talking about. That would have to go through so many rewrites, motion capture, voice acting that they would have to go through for that. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just to replace his character, because they can't use his likeness, or
No,
probably even.
what I meant, they won't replace him. They're gonna replace the cast of characters. They're gonna keep Judgment. They're gonna keep the Judgment idea. It's still gonna be beat 'em up. There's gonna be the law. It's gonna be murder mysteries linked to the Yakuza, but you're not Yakuza. This is how it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be the same thing with a different cast of characters, Persona style. You have a team of friends and you save everyone. You do all that good stuff. It's gonna be the same thing as Judgment, but with different characters. While keeping the Judgment name.
I thought you meant that they were going to put the original Judgment on PC with the new main
character.
No.
That
would cost way too much money.
Oh, no, that's not happening at all. I don't think Judgment nor Lost Judgment are going to PC. But I think they want Judgment on PC, so the third game is going to feature a different cast and will be on PC at launch.
And it'll be an easy title to get into. You don't need prior knowledge of the Judgment series.
Absolutely. I think that's what's going to happen. Because Yakuza is keeping the turn-based system. I would bet a lot of money on that, simply because, well, they confirmed it, and Like a Dragon did extremely well. So critically and financially for Sega. So because of that, no, they're going to keep rolling in that direction. That's for sure. Demos, impressions, reviews, we covered that. We covered the DLCs as well, the NVIDIA leak. We're both very excited, very, very, very excited for Lost Judgment. We cannot wait to play it. We didn't talk about this prior, but let me ask you on stream for our viewers that are watching us live. What's the plan for our review of Lost Judgment? How are we doing this? I know I'm going to play the game, as I mentioned, pretty late, unfortunately, because I have some work planned before. Well, when Lost Judgment drops, I'm going to have other projects in my hands. And I'm also waiting for that steelbook that you're going to ship my way. So I'm probably not going to get the game before like October 1st or something. So
my plan is hopefully next month we do some Dead Souls stuff, because I think that would be fun.
Yes, that's happening.
I think people would like to see that as well.
That's happening.
And hopefully, Thanksgiving time, we might be able to cover the game fully.
Okay.
That's what I hope. I know it might be a little late for some people, but I don't want to post just my own review without having your input on it.
Agreed. In terms of review, I would like if, like, you guys noticed recently, King, you dropped a video yourself on the channel. That's perfectly fine. That's probably going to keep happening. You're going to drop your own videos on certain topics. I'm going to drop my own videos on certain topics. This is still a duo channel with both of us. We're combo. But in terms of reviews, larger stuff, that's going to happen. Like, we're going to do that together, 100%. That's what I think.
I cannot wait to cover Dead Souls.
Oh, me too.
Even just talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
That's the plan for October. We also talk about we have a little surprise in mind as well. We don't know when that's gonna happen, but it's gonna be really, really funny. We have an interesting game to do with a certain movie that we want to watch together for the channel. It's gonna be fun. So I hope you guys look forward to that. This is gonna be it, I think, for episode 1 of Drinking in Kamurocho. That was fun. That was really fun. I'm glad that we started this podcast. This podcast is the reason why Kamurocho Bros exists, because we needed to talk Yakuza. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks to all of you who tuned in. Let me give a couple of shout outs before we end the stream here. H2DK, Joseph, Coogan, Philemon. Thanks for tuning in. Heather was there as well. Kudo was there. Katana Riku, Christian. I'm forgetting someone. Christoph, Bullockstow was here. Yep. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Decon was here as well. Thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. It means a lot that we had your massive support for the first episode of the podcast. Thank you. For real. I hope you look forward to the content.
Yes. This is a very big passion project for us.
It really is.
It's not something we're keeping our main stuff, like, we're still going to be covering Atlas and stuff in our individual channels. So it's a little harder for us to come, he lives in Canada, I live in the US. It's hard for us to come together for like a video, unless it's like a reaction or like a live podcast. So stuff like this is awesome to do, and I love it. So look forward to new content very soon. I can't wait to play Lost Judgment. If anything, I'll probably post my early impressions on Twitter for you guys before we actually drop the video. Hopefully sometime in November.
And I want to do something big for the review of Lost Judgment. It's going to be my first RGG game review, like official review. And man, I'm excited. Thank you all for watching. Have a great night, and we'll see you hopefully very soon for another episode of Drinking in Kamurocho. See ya, guys.
Hey, one last swig for the stream.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Bye, y'all.